The Storyteller Overland adventure van vehicle, built in Alabama, is a top dog in the adventure van space. Been around for a few years. They're making some great Sprinter-based adventure vans and now a Ford Transit, but the Winnebago Travato has nearly a 50% market share in the Class B camper van space. Why? It's got some amazing floor plans, including the 59G, which I have owned for over 3 years. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I prefer my Travato over Storyteller, and will you agree with me or disagree? And to further that point, I'm going to give you 3 tests of 3 of the RV systems in the Storyteller to determine whether or not it's a good rig for you or not. Those tests include spending a little more than $400 to determine whether or not these critical RV systems in a Storyteller is worth spending at least $157,000 worth. Here on Go Small, Live Large, we learn together, we share together, you decide what's best for you. Let's jump into it. You know, I like the Storyteller for a lot of different reasons. It's a really cool rig, but there's 3 specific things I would not buy a Storyteller for. Number 1 in order is the fridge and the freezer, really tiny. Number 2, permanent table in my Travato is over the top exceptional. And the 3rd reason is I have a real toilet in a really private room. I'm going to walk through why each of those is so important to me, and as a full-timer, absolutely critical for the way I RV. My question to you is, have you considered those critical RV systems, and how will you be using them, whether you're taking weekend trips, weeks of trips, or maybe even looking to live full-time in a van like a Storyteller Overland? Let's show you the fridge first. Starting with the fridge and the freezer, it is ginormous by Class B standards. There's only one more model of the NovaCool that's larger that fits in a Class B. But let me tell you what a game changer these 2 critical RV systems are. Let me show you this. This is the freezer. 2 sections. I can put 4 7-pound bags of ice in this freezer and still have room for food. That's a lot of space, ladies and gentlemen. Let me measure for you quickly. Each section is 14 deep, 14.5 wide, and let's call it 6 inches tall. That's the freezer. Somebody that's a math genius can do the cubic feet on that. Let's look at this. This is the fridge. Just in the door itself, I can get 2 half-gallon bottles of half and half. These are juice bottles, iced coffee, tons of storage here. I'm not sure it's going to stay open. Let me give you a quick measurement. It is 15 feet, wouldn't that be nice? 15 inches deep. It is functional to this space here, 14 inches. And the width of this first space is 17 inches. And then this space is a little slide out where you can put your condiments and things like that in. So that's what I use that space for. But this space alone and the fridge door is absolutely amazing. I store at least 7 days worth of food in this little fridge. It's amazing. Plus all the stuff in the freezer. Cool. By contrast, the Storyteller has the fridge placed right here so you can access it from the interior and the exterior of the vehicle. It's probably easier to access the items in the fridge from the exterior because you're getting on your knees to get anything out of the fridge probably on a regular basis, is my guess. Strangely, in their specs, they don't show the actual size of the fridge, cubic inch wise or otherwise. It does say it's dual volt. Mine's 12 volt, so I don't need the inverter on to run that, which is pretty great. So if you don't think a small freezer or a large freezer is important in your RV experience, here's my test for you. Run down to the Lowe's or the Home Depot, maybe a Walmart, buy a dorm-style fridge that's freestanding that has a small freezer in it. You're probably going to spend $100, $150, and literally live out of that fridge for however long you think you're going to be RVing. Not kidding about this. Put food in it, consume food out of it, shop, put the food back in the fridge, and consume it for the length of time you think you're going to be RVing. So if you're going for a 4 or 5 day trip, you put enough food in there in the fridge to live out of that fridge. Then you will determine whether or not a small fridge like that will enhance or irritate the crap out of you in your RVing experience. I'm serious as a heart attack on this. Do that test. Let me know your thoughts on the fridge and freezer combination in your RV experience. Is this something that is really important to you or not? Comment below. Hey, if we're meeting for the first time, welcome to my channel. My name is Scott. Channel name, Go Small, that would be the van. To live large, that would be to go to amazing places like Lukenbach, Texas. Yes, that's what we do here on Go Small, Live Large. We learn together, we share together. You decide what's the best way for you to roll in your rig. Here, you want to subscribe to the channel because if you like tours of vans, if you like places to take your van, Route 66 we just did, and more content on that coming up. By the way, you don't need to drive the entire thing in my opinion, but there's some key places you do not want to miss. And we give you some really great tips on how to do van life better, whether you're just taking trips, maybe full-timing like a crazy like me. Simple. Best thing about the great room is this thing right here. That would be a table, ladies and gentlemen. This is an amazing table because it's always available. This is the normal size. It extends out like this. I can seat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people around this table to dine, to drink, to play cards. And I have had up to 3 people, maybe even 4, working with their laptops around this table. It is truly one of the most magical spaces in a Class B RV that I think is really kind of underrated. Again, multiple seating positions. So if I'm working, I go solo in my RV 90% of the time. So if I'm tired of sitting there, I come here. If the view is really great out that way, I sit here so I can enjoy that. The jump seat, which is no longer available on the Winnebago Travato 2022 model, I can sit there and again work in a very different way, looking at the TV for some rolling artwork. The Storyteller Overland uses the always popular Lagoon table. What is that? It's a small table, about 21 inches, probably about 18 inches on a pole, and it rotates, which is kind of cool, but you have to put up and take away the table probably on a daily basis. You can't leave a permanent table up with a Lagoon because it's going to be in the way of something, and that's why it's meant to put up, stow away, and pull it out when you need to get something done. That would drive me crazy. Normally I have a plant here. It's at the doctor right now, and I always have this stuff available. What also makes this bed, or this table, extra special is that it can collapse into a bed. So this can be a 4x6 sleeping surface for an adult or a couple of kids. I actually have found a way not to be able to tear this table down and still make about a twin size bed out of this jump seat area. That would be the jump seat area and the dinette bench seat itself. So for me, this is really important. Storyteller Overland does have in the back of the van kind of a standing desk work dining surface, but unless you're buying a bunch of modifications, you're standing to do everything, which is actually cool because I stand to use my counter extension all the time to work from. So it's again personal preference, and here's the test to you. How important, or the question, then the test, how important is a permanent large table to you? Let's measure this bad boy. So from here to here, which is the normal table, it's 36 inches long and it is 19 inches wide. Put the extension out and now we're up to 50 inches, which is just over 4 feet of table space. Again, being able to sit up to 5 people around for dining and up to 3 or 4 for working, unheard of in a Class B space. Here's my test for you. How important is a permanent large table to your RVing experience? I think these are still available, probably on Walmart. We'll put it right here. Buy a TV tray. Now they're going to be a little smaller than the Lagoon style tables, but it gives you the sense of space that's available to you that is removable and movable. Go buy a TV tray, put your work surface, make that your work surface, make that your dining surface, put 2 people around that. Maybe what you can do is get a TV tray, cut a piece of wood that is the size of the Lagoon table and put it on top of that TV tray and then move that thing around the room. And again, 2 people dining and working from that surface. That I think will be a great test to see whether or not you like the Lagoon style tables, or is a permanent huge table much more important to your RV experience. Comment below. Let me know. Am I missing the boat here, or am I just being too passionate, or the table really isn't that big of a deal? Hey, if you're getting anything out of this video, sure would appreciate a thumb up. Lets me know you like it, lets YouTube know you like it, and they will share it out more readily to people looking at vans just like you. All right, I saved the best for last. With my real toilet, I can do number 1 and number 2, again, anytime, any place, anywhere, any kind of weather conditions. I empty about every 5 to 7 days. I have put over 11,000 flushes in my Thetford toilet in my over 3 years of ownership, and I estimate that I've emptied this tank at least 225 times in that period of time. This system is bulletproof, it's simple, it's easy, it is sanitary. I see it when it goes down, I never see it again. That is pretty cool. What does Storyteller offer? Storyteller offers you 3 toilet options. 1, use public facilities for number 1 and for number 2. Okay, we know how clean some of those facilities are. Option number 2 is to use nature. A lot of the gals and guys apparently like to pee and poop in nature. Ladies, got to dig a little bit of a hole to even do number 1, to put the TP into the hole. That would be the toilet tissue. And for boys and girls, to take a poop, you need to dig a latrine-style toilet where you're digging a hole in the ground, squatting over it, pulling your pants so you don't hit yourself, do your business, wipe, all that goes into the hole, cover the hole back up. Let's hope it's not raining. Let's hope it's not freezing. Let's hope the bugs are not bad. Let's hope there's no bears roaming around. And privacy, not available unless you are completely alone in the woods. In the middle of the night, all this by flashlight, no way for me. What about you? Third option by Storyteller is a portable toilet, a 2.6 gallon Porta-Potty. Looks like a child's toilet training seat, and you do your business. For the people I've talked to, they do it for emergency use only. That would probably be you're not feeling well, you maybe got some diarrhea, maybe it's the middle of the night, you can't drive off to the public facilities, you don't want to be out digging holes to poop in the middle of the night, so you do it in the Porta-Potty inside the van. Doesn't sound too bad, right? Well, your spouse is in bed too, unless you're going solo. So all of that, number 2 in particular, being done under the peering eyes of your loving spouse. And when it's time to empty your Porta-Potty, depending on where you're going to empty it, in a traditional toilet, maybe it's a vault type pit toilet, maybe it's a traditional RV sewage station, you're kind of shaking that thing to get it out. Sewage piping has really large diameter for a particular reason, so you can get the stuff out quick, including my black tank. Those Porta-Potties have a pretty small opening, so you're shaking, you're jiggling, you're trying to get the stuff out. Again, I only see it once, I never see it again. The Porta-Potty, you probably have to see it, smell it, and talk to it as you're trying to empty your 2.6 gallon Porta-Potty, which might last you a few emergencies. Here's my question to you. Can you comfortably use a Porta-Potty in emergencies without having a real toilet in your really expensive van? Or is this something that you really haven't thought through fully, thinking those other 2 options are pretty cool and maybe the Porta-Potty in emergencies? Here's my test for you. My test is pretty simple, but very dramatic. If you're eating lunch, skip this part. You're not going to hear this. My suggestion is to buy a Porta-Potty. Dometic sells one for $125 on Amazon. It's linked down below. Buy the Porta-Potty. Take it home, unbox it, read the directions very carefully. Then find the smallest room in your house and have your spouse present. Then I want you to sit on that Porta-Potty and do your business. Not number 1. That's not an emergency. You're going to step outside for that. Maybe even the girls for a quick overnight situation. But I'm talking number 2, because this is for emergency use only. So why not try it in a non-emergency situation to see if you like it or not? Poop in your Porta-Potty with your spouse present, back turned, and see if you like it and can deal with it in emergency situations. Because in your 150,000 plus van, that is the only option to take a poop in the middle of the night when weather conditions are terrible and there's no facilities around unless you're going to dig a hole. Then ask yourself, is this a critical RV system that I hadn't really thought through, and is Storyteller really the van for me? I don't know. It ain't for me. I would never buy a Storyteller, because of those 3 RV systems: fridge, freezer, table, and the Porta-Potty. What do you think? I didn't mention you have to go empty it. Yes, do your thing in the smallest room with your spouse present, and then go empty it in a toilet and see what you think. Might want to put a little water in there, shake it around to kind of break it up a little bit, right? Just as if you're driving around. Or get your shovel and go try it in the backyard. Sorry to be gross, but I'm very serious about this. A lot of people fall in love with the adventure van stuff, and I don't think they've really thought through, in my opinion, on some of these critical RV systems. So the bottom line is, floor plan is critical to your RVing experience. But if you're shopping for vans and you haven't answered why do you want to RV, missing out on these critical RV systems could be a very expensive mistake. Here, we did is share 3 critical systems that in my RV experience helped me choose this floor plan specifically. Spend $400, do those tests. The fridge test, dorm style, TV tray, eat around it, and poop in your Porta-Potty. For spending $400, you might have saved yourself a $150,000 OMG. Again, if you got anything out of this, thumb up, subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss a single van tour, a place to take your van, or van tips. Join us for What's Up Wednesday, every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central. We take your questions live. We have a topic of the night. We have a libation live from the road, and it's all about helping you become a better RVer. So until we see you soon, I wish you to journey on. See you later.